Middle Earth March Madness. I'm your host and co-host, Justin, normal host of Torn Tuesdays. This is a special live stream that we're doing because March Madness is totally mad right now, and these competitions have been crazy. I'm joined by an all-star cast of regular contributors to the OneRing.net. Hello, everybody. I see Chelsea and Josh and Kelisuri and Hannah and Kathy and Matt Gamgee.
I better be here.
Guys, before we get started, how do you feel about this voting just overall on this round?
It's cray-cray.
Yeah, it's been, well, let me just give you guys a little bit of,
Saturday edition of the live.
someone's got their sound on.
Nice. That would be me. I was just checking.
I could have called it. If we would have voted who it would have been, pretty sure we would have known. All right, I'm going to, here, see my fancy thing, Justin? There you go. That was it right there.
Let me put it on screen. Chris has got Chris has got the keynote.
Are you ready? It's not that fancy, really. It's not.
Okay.
There we are.
And it's full screen again.
Okay, here
it's
we go.
Full screen and
it's flash
the
forward. It's
fancy.
amazing.
Oh. But it doesn't.
There you go,
sound
JJ Abrams, right here.
Yeah. You are totally JJ today.
Right, there you go. What's cool about this round, by the way, is that we managed to get almost 5,500 votes in this round, which is awesome. We thanks to Green Dragon and others that on the One Ring staff to help push out the word and get people talking. Yes, we had a bunch of participation.
Cool.
Whose alarm is going off? You guys okay?
That's my alarm. Sorry about that.
Hopefully no one's invading you.
No, I wish.
Obviously, heavy on the U.S. again, UK in second, Canada. Unfortunately, New Zealand not represented again in this round. But yeah, it is what it is. But today, what we're going to do is actually going to watch each scene, a little clip. Then we're going to talk about the matchup, and then we're going to see who the winner is. So, do we want to just get into it? I guess.
Yeah, let's do it.
We should have named this division the Epic 8, not the Elite 8. Just saying.
Oh yeah, Elite 8 is what they do in basketball, so we're just copying them. Remember?
Yeah, I know, but it's Middle Earth, so it's epic.
Okay, that's true. Very true. All right.
Sailing past the arc.
Perfect.
And then
yeah, but it's against lighting of the beacons.
Yeah.
I mean, the music on both is epic as well. But this music makes you want to fly, whereas the other one just makes you want to drop your jaw.
Wow.
Seriously, that small screen does not do that justice at all.
No, not at all. All right, so here's our matchup. And I think we all agreed there's a pretty clear winner in this matchup. But
I'm still gonna show off my Argonaut.
I'm gonna go around the room. Hannah, let's start with you. What do you think of this matchup?
I mean, I feel like you already know my vote by my enthusiastic quip there.
For which one?
Lighting of the beacons. My arm hair is like goose pimples.
Goose pimples, all right.
Bumps, whatever. No, that's what they call them.
I know.
It depends what region of the country you're in or what
Yeah.
country you're in. It's okay. We'll go with goose pimples for now. I'll call them goosebumps, but
All right, we got one for the lighting the beacons.
okay. What about Chelsea?
No contest. It's lighting the beacons. Since the beginning, it's been lighting the beacons. It's going to come down to lighting the beacons and second breakfast and the final two. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Josh?
Charge of the Rohirrim.
I voted for the Argonaut.
Wow. But what is the winner going to be?
I think it's going to be lighting the beacons. Yeah. So.
Okay. Justin?
I've explained in multiple shows the lighting, the Argonaut is where it's at because the music score is just perfect. I had never seen anything like that ever realized in cinema on camera and executed so well to the point where there's little birds flying out of the eyeball of the statue. I mean, it's just flawless.
Just toss some CG birds in there and Justin's bought and sold.
Well, the scene starts with real footage of
That's
boats
true.
on a river that the actors famously got pneumonia from or something like that.
Oh
So,
yeah, pneumonia. Yes.
Okay. Go. So what's your vote? What's your vote?
Argonaut.
Oh,
Okay,
I saw
Jim.
him flip his second finger there.
Yep. Jim?
So yeah, I've got the Argonaut behind me in my Zoom screen, and it's a personal favorite. I still think that lighting the beacons is going to win because it's
Okay.
showcasing New Zealand. And
Yeah,
they're
I'm-
live and up front.
And did Kathy, did I hit you yet? No, not yet.
No,
Go.
not yet. Okay, so I do have my Argonaut out. I absolutely love the Argonaut. The only thing I was upset about with that sequence was simply that they put it on the poster beforehand, so we knew what it was going to look like, which to me was sort of like a spoiler. Whatever.
Right.
But lighting the beacon fire, whenever I hear that sequence, that music in the car, like I said, I think I've been known to speed a lot when I'm listening to that.
Nice.
So,
Next,
yeah, lighting.
Big Dad is going to catch you on your next ticket. He's going to find out when you're playing the soundtrack and know and come right after you. Hey, so I don't think there's any contest here. Lighting the beacons is the definition of scenic.
Mhm.
Yes, the Argonauts are cool and all, awesome, great cinema, but when you're talking about scenic and the clear showing off of New Zealand, essentially, you're talking about lighting of the beacons. So my vote goes for the beacons. Justin, you want to flip back to the scene, the screen here for the reveal?
Yep, he did it.
All right, I can't see what you guys are seeing. I only see what my presentation shows. So,
Oh.
We are ready.
Oh.
all right, tell me. Okay, here we go.
Whoa.
And it's
Lighting of
fireworks.
the beacons.
Really
Oh,
red 3D
no.
stuff.
Okay. 69%. That's good.
Jazz hands. Woo!
So our scenic division winner is the lighting of the beacons. So that's pretty impressive.
You know what's interesting is I'm sitting here watching this on the Facebook feed, and it only just now switched to the two pictures. So they're like 5 seconds behind us. Do we have a
No,
lag?
they're like,
It's always like that.
it's always like that,
Always
Kathy.
that.
Yep.
But our conversation comes live, so don't tip your hat.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Don't tip your hat. All right, let's go to the next one. Well, I actually want to talk
Sure.
about the journey. So lighting the
Okay.
beacons was the #1 seed the whole time, and it never had any competition, as I recall. I think this was the closest matchup with 69%.
Mm.
Anybody
Yeah.
think anything in here should have come out besides lighting the beacons?
No, I mean, the
No.
Argonaut was the most obvious opponent.
Yeah,
You
when I
know,
look at this list,
both
it doesn't.
both the Fellowship and the Mountain Pass was such an iconic thing for many folks. And
Yeah.
honestly, I can't believe Gandalf rides through the Shire crashed and burned in the first round.
Yeah,
Because both of those
yeah.
really set the mood for
Yep.
for a lot of the movies.
It's kind of like with a book. I mean, if the first 2 or 3 pages doesn't grab you, you might not even make it out of that first chapter.
Yeah.
And that's what Gandalf rides to the Shire is like. Of course, you get
So-
the epilogue first.
Anybody else? Hannah, Chelsea, Josh, you got any notes on scenic before we move on and crown our victor and go to the next division?
With the scenic, I mean, it's pitted against sailing past the Argonath, entering into Lothlorien. There's no way that it stood a chance against, sailing against the Argonath, but I wish that it could have been pitted against something else to proceed to round 2, because that's
Right.
a personal favorite of mine.
Yeah.
Like,
Chelsea?
When you say that, are you talking about when they get into the center of Lothlorien, not when they're running in?
Well, it's hard to know because it just says entering Lothlorien, so we don't know if
Yeah.
it's just that first entering and meeting Haldir, or
Or
if
is it
it's
Parthgowan and
yeah,
that wonderful
Yeah,
extended
or-
edition?
I'm just
or the-
gonna go with all of the above.
All of you.
exactly. I'm
Yeah,
the above as well.
All right, let's move on then. Josh or Chelsea, did you have any notes before we move on?
I've been lighting the beacon since the beginning. There was never a contest on this one for me.
The
Yeah.
chat room agrees.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm
Chelsea.
not surprised. I mean, that lighting the beacons it's a beautiful sequence. The music works great, and I mean, it's great. Commercial for New Zealand. I mean, I love the sailing. Like I said, that was my vote, just because of kind of all the emotion that goes into that whole sequence and everything, and Aragorn seeing them and the emotion that he has and all that kind of thing. But I think also it helps too that that sequence has maybe a little more CGI in it, obviously because of the Argonath and stuff, and a lot of the lighting of the beacons is just, I mean, yes, there's some CGI with the beacons lighting up, but
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's basically a live shot of New Zealand as
Right.
you go for a
Right.
minute.
Yeah, I was just going to read one of the chatters who's Ralvin Manikim just said probably the closest for him or her, I'm not sure which, was against the Fellowship when the Fellowship sees the Rivendell, which of course I think is more when they're walking around
Mhm.
Rivendell.
Right,
But
right.
so that was in his mind what would have been the only competition.
All right, let's move on then. We're going to the action and drama division
Action
finale.
drama.
Ooh.
Drama.
All right, so if you remember, here's our sequences. We're going to watch them, then we'll talk about them.
Okay,
Oh, this
Here's
one
my
makes me
shield.
teary-eyed. I don't have my tissues.
Courage, Mary.
Oh man, I'm getting goosebumps now.
There you go.
And there's my shield. I'm ready to go.
I just got chills in my whole body.
Yep.
Oh, and it's like that. God, with the music. Oh, this is.
Oh man.
The
right.
chat is just reciting along with
Yeah.
Theoden there.
Here we go.
I'm okay.
I am the serpent of the secret fire, wielder of the flame of Arnor. The dark fire will not avail you, flame of Udun! Go back to the shadow. You shall not!
Oh man.
Oh,
Cut it off before the pass?
I did. I don't know what the deal with the sync in the audio is, but oh, all right. Let's go around the room. Let's start with Jim.
Boy, this for me was like my toughest choice.
Yeah.
These are such terrific scenes.
Mhm.
I am still going to go with the Charge of the Rohirrim because it is such a turning point. It was meaningful for Tolkien as he was writing it. It always caught his spirit and breath. He paused at that scene for a long time, and it's just iconic. So, got to go with the Charge of the Brigade.
All right, let's go with Chelsea.
This is, I mean, I'm right there with you. This is a really, really hard choice. A Charge of the Rohirrim was part of my team this entire time, but Gandalf versus Balrog is iconic. And to quote Justin, it's meme magic. And on top of that, like, so many films have taken homage to this scene, like just that protective bubble around Gandalf right there, and the Balrog with the whip, and that it's like Thanos hitting Captain Marvel. It's the same protective shield and stop that happens. Also in Onward, this entire scene is in the opening number. Like, there's so, I'm gonna go with the fact that like this is probably the most memorable standout scene in most people's mind. So I voted Gandalf versus Balrog.
The
All right.
chat room agrees with your opinion that this is an epic versus iconic matchup. One of these scenes is epic as epic gets, and one of them is so iconic. It is just a history lesson in masterful filmmaking. And for me, the Balrog sounds like flame. They got it's amazing. And I remember the debates online on the message boards where fans just could not grasp how the filmmakers could deliver first a Balrog of shadow and flame, secondly a sword of fire, third a whip of flame, and and the battle that ensues after he
And are there wings or not?
And like, it's just crazy that they were able to deliver all of those things in one scene, and I've never heard a complaint about that scene ever from anyone on any side of the aisle.
You heard a complaint about the Rohirrim?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, so
Theoden
you're
is left-handed. That would be the complaint, I
you're
guess.
you're squarely on the Justin. You're squarely on the Balrog and Gandalf.
Very
All
much.
right, Kathy.
Well, as you can see, I've got my Rohirrim shield with me, so I am all with Theoden.
Nice. Josh.
I voted for Gandalf versus the Balrog. I think this is a battle of two heavyweights.
Yeah.
As far as their impact and their meaning within the trilogy. I like I said, I think the Charge of the Rohirrim and what it leads into with the Battle of Pelennor Fields. Like I said the other night, I think it's the pinnacle of creating a battle, in a movie and making it look awesome. And like I said the other day, I've only seen one movie that to me got in the same zip code. And Theoden's, sacrifice and everything it's emotional. But like I said, for someone like me who came into him with the movies, I think the scene, the whole sequence in Moria is one of my favorite sequences in the entire trilogy. Just how it's all done. And when you don't know what's coming at all, then you see the Balrog come on screen and you see this sequence with Gandalf. It gripped me. It put the hooks in and finished me off and wanting to just know more and get as involved with it as I have. And Gandalf's sacrifice for everybody, knowing that he's going to have to do that. I think
it was a big one for you.
It's a big one, yeah. And
right.
like I said, when you don't know what's coming, it's like then you get that shock. So
Yep. I'm going to jump in before Hannah. Hannah, you're going to get the last word on this round.
Oh, okay, cool.
First, I want to say hi to Suzanne on Facebook. Haven't seen you in a while.
She actually asked me how to get into chat.
Yeah, it's just too long. So here's, I agree. We're like epic versus iconic here. I have a special place in my heart for Gandalf versus Balrog simply because I got to see that Cannes footage and it ended before this sequence, and I was anticipating it so much, and then it's like Justin, like you were saying, the payoff on all the execution of it. It's just crazy. But the Charge of the Rohirrim as well is something we had not seen. But I voted for Gandalf and the Balrog. Hannah, you got the last word on this round.
Oh boy. Okay, so I do agree with everybody's points. It is basically like apples and oranges. in terms of, the Charge of the Rohirrim, you get goosebumps and you're like, oh my gosh. And then the other, like Gandalf versus the Balrog, it's like, it's a solo thing, and the other one's just, I don't know how to explain it, but for me personally, and I'm probably gonna get a lot of hate for
You won't get
saying
hate. Don't
this.
worry. You won't get hate.
Nope.
I don't think so.
Get it
We'll
out,
see.
girl.
We'll judge.
Oh gosh, Justin
But-
loves his drama. Anyway, when I first came in with the movies, because I was very, very young, the first thing that I actually saw was in Moria, but it was with the cave troll, and that was when I was really, really little. But out of the two scenes, the one that sticks with me the most is Charge of the Rohirrim. When I watched the trilogy as a whole as a 9-year-old, I honestly can't remember what my reaction was to Gandalf versus the Balrog, but I can remember what my reaction was to Charge of the Rohirrim. So I
Nice.
have to go with Charge with the
All right.
Charge of the Rohirrim.
And
All right.
And
Flip this-
I have a quick interjection. The lighting of the beacon fires leads to the Charge of the Rohirrim.
Yeah,
So
you
they're
can
sort of
kind
like
of see a
bookmarks.
pattern here.
Yeah, there's a bookmark here.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
All right. So let's see who our winner in this action
I don't
drama
wanna see. I'm
finale
gonna hide.
is.
Avert your eyes. Okay.
That weird
Charge of the
3D
Rohirrim.
weird.
Oh, all right.
Boo!
Wow.
Yes. Okay.
66% of the vote. And
Wow,
yep, there it is.
Nice.
that's amazing.
Yeah, that is pretty amazing.
I
Now
actually
we're
was
just-
kind of thinking it was going to be like 52.
Yeah.
But it was a pretty big victory. I also was surprised. I was, Chelsea, you heard me saying about Gandalf was going to make it through no matter what. Like, obviously, clearly
Yeah,
wrong.
the internet loves Gandalf.
Yep. Apparently, I can be wrong occasionally.
Apparently.
It's sort of weird.
I guess the Rohirrim, it's because, you've got Merry and Theoden and Eowyn and Eomer, so you've got all these characters.
Never bet against horse girls.
How many people did we have
But-
vote in this round again?
5,500 people voted.
Wow.
Horse
That is
Girl was
impressive.
#1 seed in this whole region, in the whole division.
Yep, that's true, Justin. So, but here we have another division. The number 2 comes out, right? Not the number
Yeah.
1.
Eowyn and the Witch King didn't make it.
Button
But,
Lady
I
is
know.
crossing her arms in protest.
yeah.
But I'll have
Oh,
Eowyn had her
mine
revenge. Eowyn had her revenge in this
Yeah.
round. She got beat out with the Witch King, but here's the charge.
And she's
Um,
going to take down a Mumakil, by herself. She's just going to chop the back of his legs and make him collapse. So she
I
takes
mean,
down
honestly,
one of those
like,
elephants.
I'm stoked about how it turned out, because every single round on the bottom half of this, I voted Charge of the Rohirrim. It was charge, except for this final round, because I just went
No, you didn't. You voted for Fairness Charge. Remember?
You gave up hope?
fear. Oh, I forgot that was in this bottom one. For
Oh
some
no,
reason, I keep thinking Faramir's
no,
Charge
actually,
against your
you
Jar
didn't.
Jar
You
every
could.
time.
It wasn't against it anyway. Don't worry about it. I'm kidding.
Shelby in the chat room says, too
Anyway.
bad Eowyn didn't win this division. She could have been the drama queen.
Uh,
What? That's
No.
horrible. Don't say that
Oh.
again. Don't say that
No.
again.
Thank you, chat room.
No,
The-
no,
the
no.
only time that I didn't vote for Charge was this last time with Gandalf versus Balrog, and it was really a 50-50 toss-up for me. But I just remember, like, the amount of times I've quoted "You Shall Not Pass," like
Right,
it's
right.
the iconic moment. And
Yeah. What happened,
Yeah.
Justin? What happened to the meme theory?
death.
I'm just going to the locker room. No press conference. I'm going to the locker room.
Wrath
So,
for
Hi,
ruin.
Justin.
The fact that the Charge of the Rohirrim is such an epic, it leads into such an epic battle. I mean,
See, that's the, yeah.
that. I mean, I like I said, I voted for Gandalf versus the Balrog because of what that moment means to me and that kind of stuff, and I love that sequence. But
You're
It's
telling
not
me
like-
that
it's
the
not
bu-
like it was going up against, Merry and Pippin and the fireworks. I mean, small cute moment. It's went up against and literally one of the
Epic.
greatest sequences
Yeah.
ever put on film. So I don't think
Yeah.
I'm a little surprised the gap it was as much as it was, but I'm
Yeah.
not shocked.
Your argument there is valid for both scenes. The
Yeah,
Gandalf
absolutely.
versus Balrog leads into one of the most epic battles of cinema history and the opening of the Two Towers.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, 100%.
See, Justin, if you look at this whole list, I mean, for me, this was the toughest division,
Mm.
because every one of these scenes is a turning point of some kind. For me,
Oh,
that
yeah.
means
Yeah, absolutely.
the whole 16 of these.
Riddles in the dark.
Tough.
I mean, hello.
Yeah, because the movies are turning on these kinds of scenes. And
Death to memes, says Thomas in the chat room. So let's carry on before I.
Okay. All right. Here we go.
Oh dear. What's next?
A laughter
Oh, okay,
division
perfect.
final.
Oh no.
And then tearjerkers for the last. I get how you play.
All right, yes, Hannah, you got it. You see, it's
Yeah.
all planned.
all
Because we're all
smart.
gonna cry at the end. And all right, so laughter. We're gonna watch the two scenes and then we're gonna discuss.
Okay.
Oh, hell yeah.
Hmm.
We do not stop till nightfall.
What about breakfast?
We've already had it.
We've had one, yes. What about second breakfast?
The smugness in his face.
Don't think he knows about second breakfast, Pip. What about elevensies? Luncheon, afternoon tea, dinner, supper. He knows about them, doesn't he? I wouldn't count on it.
Smack.
oh, you missed when he looks up, which is the
Yeah.
perfect moment of that scene.
What's happening out there?
Shall I describe it to you? Or would you like me to find you a box?
And I realize Legolas is actually kind of smiling when he turns to him and says
Yep.
that line. I kind of like that line for that reason.
All right, I'm gonna give Chelsea the last word on this one. We're gonna start with Kathy.
Okay. The second breakfast thing, I mean, again, meme worthy, not just for second breakfast, but for all the meals. I mean, anytime you have a party now, you have to have elevensies or tea or whatever. But I really do like that it's not just that it's Legolas telling a joke, and that doesn't happen anywhere else in the whole series. Legolas isn't funny most of the time, so I kind of like it for that, and of course Gimli's laugh. So
All right,
That was my vote.
Kathy's find me a box. We're gonna go to Jim.
Does Kathy find me a box, or is she second breakfast?
Oh wait, what are you, Kathy?
I'm Find Me a Box, yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay. Jim.
Yeah.
No, I'm second breakfast all the way. We did a 3-movie watch, punctuated by every one of those 7 meals. We have a clock downstairs in our kitchen that has all of the
that's
meals around it, which
Nice.
is perfect. So yeah, this is. I will not be able to believe if one of either Pippin or Gimli comes out of this division, because they're the comic relief in the whole thing. And Pippin, we just watched Fellowship, and Pippin is eating the entire movie. Because he's hungry the entire movie. So
He grew. Remember, he grew through the entire thing as well. So
it's got to be second breakfast.
all right,
As cute as
Justin.
Find Me a Box is.
I'm currently sitting with my dwarven brethren, and so Gimli all the way. And I gotta admit, the chat room on Periscope, on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitch are all in agreement that Gimli's laughter sells that scene. And in fact, John Rhys Davies' laugh, which was made famous in some great scenes in Indiana Jones. One of the reasons he got cast. So congrats to John Rhys Davies.
Wait. Tell whoever keeps going out the garage door to stop going out the garage door. Who has
I know.
that?
Hold on. Give me a sec.
Anna's gonna have to go lay smash down.
Sorry, Josh.
It's funny, Josh.
I'm obviously going to go with Find Me a Box. Yeah, Gimli's laugh sells it at the end, but I had forgotten because it's been a little bit since I've seen the movie.
Wow.
The sarcasm in which Legolas says that, and so to me that's also there's some hilarity in that that this elf, he should be very stoic. He's been that way. They're known to be that, and he lays just the lightest bit of sarcasm at him. It works, and then then you get the buzzer beater game winning shot from Gimli and his laugh, and it just.
All right, the buzzer beater, I love it. Perfect basketball analogy. Thank you very much, Josh. Hannah, what do you got for this round matchup here?
Well, you see, I'm at a tie. I like both scenes quite a bit. My God.
It's okay. Don't worry about it. It's all good. It's live internet. It's all good.
Edit it out in post. Don't worry.
No. No, for Second Breakfast, as a small child, and still now, I had the world's biggest crush on Peregrine Took and Billy Boyd, and Justin probably remembers that. No, okay, you're no fun. Anyway, but no, so that was always a point of.
So you're a Hobbit girl.
I am a Hobbit girl, yes.
So which one did you vote for, Hannah? Which one did you vote for?
Hobbiton.
I like both scenes, but I had to go with the underdog here, and I voted for Would you like me to find you a box?
Okay.
It was literally it was literally a matter of
Hobbit,
okay,
Hobbit,
which
Hobbit.
one?
Oh, by the way, dwarf.
Yeah.
Yeah, my guys.
Dwarf and elf, yes.
All right, I learned to. How do I say this without offending people?
Oh no, go on.
It's not going to happen. Meaning it's going to offend people no matter what. I sort of got sick of hobbits.
What?
I know it's crazy.
You aged out of hobbits.
I think I might have I don't know. Well, I'm pretty old as it is. But I don't know if I just got sick of hobbits or something. Something happened at some point in my fandom of Lord of the Rings that I'm just like, I'm sort of done with hobbits. So I also went with Can I Find You a Box? Because I love John Rhys Davies. And it's a small moment. It cuts that tension. I don't know. It was a nice laugh at that moment. So I went with Can I Find You a Box? Okay, Chelsea, what do you got?
You want my final words on this subject, huh?
Yeah, this is you're the final words. No interrupting this time, Kathy. Chelsea's got the final.
Okay. It sounds like everybody voted for the underdog, which is crazy. But my final words aren't really so much words as they are.
I can't. What are you doing?
I got that.
Nice.
I didn't throw it.
Or did you?
All right. Oh, apple. Okay. See, I'm seeing the delay. I finally saw the apple. Okay. All right. Let's see who's ready. And do we think? Let's just drag this out a little bit longer. What do we think the margin of victory was? And I'm just gonna go.
I think this might be as bad as it was for the last two, honestly.
All right.
I'm sticking with my meme magic. I'm saying Second Breakfast for 85%, even though I didn't vote.
I'm gonna write that down. 85%.
For Second Breakfast. Wow.
Yikes.
Anybody else want to throw some numbers out there quick?
I think if Find Me a Box wins, it's close.
Yeah.
Like 50.
Like 53, 52.
Yeah, 52. 48, something like that. I think if Breakfast wins, I think it could be a slightly larger margin, like 60-40.
Oh.
All right, here we go. Who's ready?
I'm nervous. My heart is racing.
Are you ready?
Anxiety. I can't handle this. Please show the results.
Okay.
Wait a second. I think I hear the Easter Bunny. Hold on.
You know what? Can I come over there and do it?
Okay.
It's just one of Radagast's rabbits. Go.
Oh, go. All right. What were we doing again? We were doing something.
Oh, yeah. Somebody throw something at him.
Torture.
Chelsea, throw him that apple.
Yes.
Oh.
Oh. Upset.
52%.
And you nailed it, Josh. You nailed it.
Mhm.
Wow. Upset City. When I had to check this twice.
Wow.
Chelsea, how are you feeling right now?
She's eating something.
That orange
My
she
feelings
did,
is what I'm doing.
Chelsea, are you okay?
I'm really not okay. No, I'm not.
So a 14th seed comes out of the Laughter Division, takes out Pippin.
Holy
That's-
cow. That is
That's-
crazy talk.
Well, like I said, if Find You a Box was going to win, it was going to have to be close because
Mhm.
the way Pippin sells that whole sequence there.
Chris,
So
how many votes apart?
I mean, it hurt. I don't know. Maybe it
Oh,
didn't.
that's a good
I'm not
question.
sure
Let me
if
pull
the
it up.
Way on it.
Where'd my iPad go?
Yeah, because
It did.
52% is a very slim margin.
Yeah,
Someone who
that's-
could do math. We had 5,500 votes. What's 52? Yeah, whatever. It's math. I'm an art major.
Just pull it up.
Um,
Like 110 votes, isn't it?
I think another thing
Yeah,
of
that's
it
close.
is that like the same thing with You Shall Not Pass. People have heard it so many times, You know,
yeah.
You know what?
I don't
so-
know. Maybe
So Justin's getting bounced on his meme theory.
Boxing funny at all.
Yeah, because memes don't necessarily make emotional context, although both of these are funny.
There's
He's not
something
being
that
bounced on his-
Chris
on his
said
gift.
like a while ago about how laughter is very personal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody has different types of I like a lot more like dry British humor. Some people like sophomoric American humor, stuff like that. I've never found Find You a Box funny, ever.
Yep.
comedy
Laughter is in the eye of the
dimly selling it by
laugher.
laughing.
Yeah.
Well, the thing I didn't expect was Hannah is the best representation of what is happening now. Where a lot of people are like, well, it's obvious it's going to be Pippin.
Yeah.
So I'm
The
going to vote for
second
the
Hannah
underdog
said
just
she
because
voted
like
for
it's
the
too
underdog.
obvious.
The second Hannah said she voted for the underdog, my heart started racing because I knew that's why I was just like when you said Chelsea, the final word, I was like, well, clearly it's going to Find You a Box because that's what Hannah voted for. So the rest of the internet had the I'm going to vote for the underdog moment. Like,
Totally, and we've
I
seen
don't-
that happen in the real world. Anyway,
I want to just say though, this did flip. This flipped halfway through this competition. In doing this historically, I have rarely seen these. Once you get in probably about 1,000 votes, it's rare,
Mhm.
very rare for it to actually flip. And this one did.
It's like 100 votes.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say this just in general and for the comfort of Chelsea as well. I'm a Pippin fangirl as well, so I mean I'm right there with you. And
So
stuff.
not-
yeah, but you didn't
Yeah.
vote when it came to the important things in life. You
to
didn't
the
vote for
important
the
things
took.
in life,
didn't
yeah,
vote for the
okay,
took.
buddy.
All right. All right. So here
Are
we
we
go.
going to talk about that division at all?
Yeah, sure. We can talk about it.
I've been holding all along. I think this is the weakest division.
Yep.
I would start looking for Russian influence if Find You a Box beats the Charge of the Rohirrim in the next.
We've had bot voting before and had to change our format for it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now this one I can monitor. And
Or
I have
mischief.
and I do monitor, by the way. I do make sure these things are on the up and up. I'm looking at IPs, I'm looking at all that kind of stuff.
Oh god,
So-
you have my IP?
Yeah. I think why you didn't know that. I could. You want me to turn off the alarm for you so it doesn't say garage open?
No, actually, I
do
would
that for you
love
from
that.
here,
Do
too.
it, please.
All right, let's go to our next bracket.
No, I know. I just I think Jim had a point here. This was always going to be the weakest division. And do we think that Laughter has a chance against anything? Ignoring all the other results.
Well, it's going up against Charge of the Rohirrim, right?
Yep.
I mean, yeah, it's gonna get.
Slaughtered.
We've talked about, Justin especially has talked about some of the margins and gone like really wide with them.
Yeah.
I would expect Charge of the Rohirrim to win by get like 85% of the vote.
Okay. Well, let's hold that thought because we do have a review of the final four at the end. But how about this division in general? Was there
Well,
anything in
well-
here that survived or that went too far? Things that you should have gone farther?
Where are we going? I actually expected that to outdo Second Breakfast.
I really like that it still counts as one, but
Yeah.
if I remember right, that's only in the extended version, right?
No.
Or is it in
No,
the?
no, it's in
I haven't
the.
seen the
No, it's
theatrical
in the
1,000. See, that's what
it's
happens when you only
theatrical.
watch the extended versions. You forget that this.
Well, I think the
So,
the
To
mistake.
me, I'm surprised that wasn't a higher seed and
Mhm.
didn't go further, because that scene probably actually makes me laugh more than Find You a Box.
Right.
Well, the problem is that, you know, for the laughter division, the Hobbit trilogy should have just, you know, outranked every Lord of the Rings in the laughter division, because look, the Hobbit is supposed to be a
kidding me?
funnier
A
movie
funnier-
and a funnier book and a funnier trilogy.
Oh, it's supposed
But-
to be.
It's supposed to be, but the problem is their regular season gameplay was just terrible, and they didn't make it to the finals.
They didn't prepare
Nice
for the
shot,
playoffs,
nice
man. They didn't
shot.
prepare for the playoffs.
They didn't have a
Seriously.
Patrick Mahomes to help him win it. That's the problem.
Right.
You
All
don't
right.
want this from day one.
When they were making the movie, they're like, okay, so when the One Ring makes their film scenes Middle Earth March Madness, we gotta win it, guys.
That's it.
Yeah, but not anytime soon. It has to be in 2020.
The long game. You got to play the long game.
Oh,
You got to
man.
recruit correctly.
Remember
You
that
have good
sequence
coaching.
on the Conan O'Brien show we did like in the year 2000, and it
Yep.
was always that's what you guys were talking about now, like talking about how
In the year
I'm
2020.
hearing Conan O'Brien go, in the year 2020 in my head.
Yep, right here. All right, tearjerker division. We're gonna watch the two sequences and
Oh.
then discuss. It's okay to cry. It really
All right,
is.
I got tissue.
I'm already crying.
I've already cried.
My friends. You bow to no one.
All right, and next. Oh God.
I would have followed you, my brother. My captain. My king. Peace. Son of Gondor.
Oh man. All right. Well,
Wow.
here we go. Let's Kathy, you're gonna get the last word on this one, by the way.
Well, good. I'm not going to hold this the whole time.
What are you holding? Oh, you got Boromir.
Boromir.
Yeah. All right. Let's start this time with Hannah, actually.
Oh no. Both of them are emotional scenes. Both of them have made me cry. It's just the question of which one makes me cry the most. It's got to be My Friends You Bow to No One. I do like the character of Boromir, don't get me wrong, but
I agree with Hannah.
yeah.
It's the You Bow to No One makes grown men cry.
It should be interesting though, because I'm planning on watching the whole entire trilogy over Zoom with my crush who's never seen Lord of the Rings. So and I cry a lot.
By the way, that doesn't sound like a good plan. in my
It
opinion.
doesn't, but I'm gonna do it anyway.
I would save something like that important with. Did you say your crush? Someone like
Yes.
yeah, you got to save that
Save
for
that.
like when this is
He lives in
over.
Ohio. How am I gonna?
Yeah,
Save
but
save your money.
save
Save
it for
my
when you
money?
get to go to Ohio and when you get to go see him, and then you can watch it together. I don't take that moment and I mean, here I'm giving you Dr. Laura Schlesinger or whatever
Oh,
her
thank
name was
you.
advice.
Thank you.
It's
Don't-
gonna
you
lose.
s-
You're gonna lose a lot watching it over Zoom.
That
Yeah,
is
don't do-
true.
don't do
That's
that.
true.
Not to mention, you're not going to see. You could judge a person a lot by the reactions to Lord of the Rings, and you're not going to get those true reactions. You want to see that. You want to
True.
see. You want to see that.
I just don't want to cry around them. That's all.
Well, you're gonna have to. I mean, it's
It's just how it is. All right, let's
how it
go to
be.
Josh. Josh, who do you have in this matchup?
I voted You Bow to No One. I mean, that's who I think I think it's going to be a close race either way because both scenes are very emotional. Like I said, I think Vigo helped sell the Boromir's death so well, and during all of that, and then the tear at the end. And then You Bow to No One, like I said the other day, and if anybody wants to go back and watch the old game tape, they can see what I said about it. I just think it's a very powerful moment. I think there's something to be said about the most powerful person in the whole realm of wherever, telling somebody who might be considered the lowest, they don't need to bow to someone like them, that they are as important. I think that there's something to be said about that. And I think too, it also hits you emotionally because of everything you experience from the start of Fellowship all the way to that point. And I think that there's some bit of release that comes from that, from seeing Frodo's face at the end and everything in that moment. And
All right,
it's a scene that makes me cry every time.
got it. All right, let's go to. I'll go. This is not even a competition in my book. Boromir. That sequence, I don't know, because I think I've said before, I've always identified, I guess, with Gondor and Faramir and Boromir and that sequence, which is so well done. About a one, no one's nice and all, but yeah, for me, it's Boromir's death. So, Justin. Oh no, you already went, Justin. Jim.
I'm with you, Chris. I don't know. I don't want to offend anybody, but I never have cried at Bow to No One. All I thought was, respect, cool. That's just the way I received that scene. We've talked about how this tearjerker division, people have tears jerked for very personal reasons.
Right.
And not everybody's reason is the same. So for me, Boromir's death involves a death. And particularly that one shot when Aragorn, Vigo, stands up and eulogizes Boromir.
Right.
And you can see the tear. There's an actual tear in this scene. So for me, like Chris, it's hands down Boromir's death.
Chelsea?
Did we lose Chelsea?
No, I just
There she is.
She's musing.
I'm not okay right now.
It's a challenge. No, you can't even speak. No.
Take a minute to process that second breakfast loss.
Oh.
Literally,
That
I
was
don't
the
think you
tearjerker.
understand. I was off camera for a bit. I don't think anyone noticed because my blood sugar dropped to the
Oh
point I was shaky, and I had to go get sugar and insulin because I was like, freaking out. Like I'm not okay right now.
Still recovering from that. I'm glad I didn't. I was going to save that one to the end, by the way. So I'm glad I didn't do that because
Take that, internet.
You take care of yourself, Chelsea. Then.
Yes.
All right, Josh. Final words.
Well,
no, it's
Kathy.
Kathy. Kathy's final words.
Okay, well, I pulled this puppy out. The first time I saw the movies, I mean, having read the books, I know what's coming on who's dying, who dies and doesn't really die and all that. So I can sort of distinctly remember what drew my attention. And Boromir running in to protect Merry and Pippin was expected and was handled beautifully. The scatter of Uruk-hai bodies around him is exactly as it's portrayed in the books. But the unexpected, the thing that, you didn't really get in the books, because in the books, he's dead when they find him and find that the two hobbits have been missing. So, this is a new scene, but it was written so well and it was absolutely played to the T. I mean, the bond between Aragorn and Boromir was amazing in the fact that it was sort of contentious through the beginning. And then Boromir finally, after he, tried to take the ring, finally got it. And this is the redemption. This is him as the son of the steward handing, his allegiance to Aragorn fully. So no competition for me.
Yeah. Yep. All right. And I'm pretty sure Chelsea's on board with that because I remember her shirt from a little while ago. So stop killing Sean Bean.
What lady in the chat room says she was always disappointed that Boromir didn't take more arrows, because in the book it says many arrows.
Many arrows.
Yeah,
Well, that was big,
more than
thick
3.
All right. Well, I don't want to prolong our
tears.
Our tears much longer. So without further ado,
Fireworks.
Boom, boom, boom. No, wrong answer.
What?
Right answer.
55%. That's
That-
too close for comfort.
I disagree with this one. Oh wait, I got the wrong division up top. By the way, don't ignore that part.
Oh.
Action drama. Okay, well, we will
It's actually
ignore that.
tearjerker. It's actually tearjerker.
That disqualifies it.
Yeah, that's right. Actually, and as I'm the administrator of this all, I could just say Boromir won. So is that cool with everybody? Is that okay?
No.
Go back to say second breakfast one.
You got it, Chelsea. Done. Anything for you.
The people are checking out of the chat room now. This is not right. This is not.
I'm
okay.
out, not right.
Recount.
Holy cow.
Recount. You know what we could do though?
I mean,
That
I'm pretty
55% margin. I mean, that isn't that an
Sean
automatic
Bean is
recount?
crying in his many graves.
I'm pretty sure that I voted for Bow to No One.
Oh wait, what?
Wait.
Sounds like
I voted for Bow to No One in every other match except for the Some Good in This World. And I was like,
Wow.
yeah.
All right.
So
Boromir was
you had
robbed.
this
Filthy
division.
hobbits.
I'm looking. I'm just looking because I pull these results about 20 minutes before the show is
By the
over.
way, this is a 16th seed. This is the biggest upset of the entire.
Yeah, it beats the other one, the 14.
Nope. It's 55%.
Which I might add, the technical execution of the scene takes me out of it because it's quite obvious the hobbits are not standing there, and I don't know.
Well, it's also Alan
Yet you
Funt's
voted for it.
miniature.
Yet you voted for it, Justin.
I voted for it.
Yet you
because
voted for it.
Meme magic. It's got way more memes than Boromir.
I don't know
What?
that this
mean,
matchup. I don't think you can feel good about either way, no matter who won, because they're. I mean, obviously, the tearjerker division. It's meant to be sad, but both to me as somebody who really loves both moments. I guess I'm glad Bow to No One won, but I'm also
Here's
sad
what
that
I would have.
Boromir's death didn't win because
Yeah.
I think
I was just gonna say real quick, Josh. If we look at this breakdown in this division, if Gandalf's fall was in the portion up top against Bow to No One, I'm pretty sure this final would have been Gandalf's fall versus Boromir's death, and I think we would have received the correct scene coming out of this. I'm sorry, I'm being a dick now.
Oh, that would have been really hard. Gandalf's death or Gandalf's fall, because like Gandalf's fall is different than the scene that was the Fellowship's reaction, or was that how Gandalf's fall was?
That's all Gandalf's fall. That's all.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the Fellowship's reaction here.
That's right. Oh, that's right. Because fight with the Balrog was
That was drama in action.
Yeah.
Any other ones in this division that we think really
Some
should
good in
have?
this world.
Yep.
Grey
Although
Havens
Sam
as well.
carrying Frodo, you know, if
Oh.
you can't carry it, I can carry it for you.
Yeah.
Buddy.
True story. Facts.
Oh.
I'm gonna be real selfish here and be like Thorne's death deserves more votes and love.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just saying.
Well, and then we also missed out when our seating with the staff. We missed the whole, I think, the Gandalf and Pippin discussion.
Yeah.
That could
Yeah.
have been
Whole
in
thing.
here.
Great.
Yeah, the whole thing with the green, far
Yeah.
green land and all that.
I think
Yep.
Chris's point about like if you know when we voted as a staff and that kind of changed, one or two of these in any of these brackets get a vote more or a vote less and it changes their seating. I mean, you could have very different matchups throughout the way that create, where Bow to No One might not make it out of the first.
Well, Grey Havens, I mean, that was the biggest shocker right there, was the Grey Havens not making it out. I mean,
Right.
At the end of the film, I mean, obviously there's Frodo wakes up and sees everybody for the first time. Then there's the coronation, there's the Bow to No One, there's the return home and Frodo's sadness. There's Bilbo going off to the Grey Havens, and then the shock that Frodo's going to join them. So it's all of those things. And so by the end, when you get to the Grey Havens, everyone's crying in the theater. It's the biggest cry fest of all. And the fact that it didn't make it out of the first round.
You have that, and then of course obviously you get through it, and then you start playing Into the West, which
Right.
And then you're done.
that song makes me cry every time. And I don't, honestly, when you watch the movie and you go do the credits and everything, I don't know how I have any tears left by the time I get through Into the West, because I'm just like, I'm wrecked.
Tony in the chat room says this whole thing's a sham. It's like Saving Private Ryan losing to Shakespeare in Love.
Suzanne wants to know, she says, please share that meme with me. What meme is, Susan, what meme are you referring to?
The one we just showed on screen.
With the Boromir having arrows that January, February, March.
Go
And
to the OneRing.net Twitter account. Just scroll back through a few days of tweets. You'll see it. It's perfect.
All right. All right. So we are moving on to our final
four.
Oh, wow, final four.
All right. And we're going to have a chance here to talk these matchups through because I think they're, well, we don't know anymore, right? Pippin didn't come out of laughter. Pippin didn't come out of the laughter division. Blows my mind.
I actually think there's going to be two blowouts.
Yeah. So, is it though? I mean,
I would.
3 out of the 4.
I only make a teacher's salary, and I would bet some of my money on that these are both blowouts.
Okay, so Josh, let's start off. Go ahead. Where are your two?
Okay, so let me preface this by saying I'm going to vote for Bow to No One, and I'm going to vote for while I'm voting for the underdog, I expect it to get whooped. I think it's going to. I think I'm like 75-25 type beating. As far as the lighting of the beacons winning. Charge of the Rohirrim, that's what I'm going to vote for. And I like I said earlier, I think it's like an 85-15, 80-20 win for Charge of the Rohirrim.
All right.
I don't think they're going to be close.
Chelsea, how you doing? Are you able to comment on these?
I still think Lighting the Beacons moving into the final two. And hell no, am I voting for Find You a Box. So.
You feel like I did on Faramir's Charge.
You get no box.
You can join us, Rohirrim, then. Go for it.
Yeah, well, I've been Charge of the Rohirrim since like the beginning, so I would be honored if Charge of the Rohirrim and Lighting the Beacons made it into the final two.
Right.
But I do think Bow to No One and Lighting the Beacons, I think it's going to be a closer call than Josh thinks it is.
Yeah.
Don't throw your vote away, Josh. Don't throw your vote away.
Let's go to Hannah.
Again, I know who I'm voting for. I'm voting for Lighting of the Beacons and the Charge of the Rohirrim. Honestly, when we started streaming this, I was about to say, oh, it's going to be Second Breakfast. That's just going to be the winner in general. But now I'm not so sure, and I'm kind of questioning everything right now. So honestly, I don't know, but I can say what I'm voting for, and so no comment. but personal comment.
All right, Kathy.
Well, the horn of Gondor may not be blowing, but the Rohirrim also have horns.
That's
And
true.
so Charge of the Rohirrim will make it in on that side. I don't see it not being that way. And yeah, Bow to No One was just sort of a scene to me. Wasn't it a big scene to me? It was just like, oh, how nice, he's offering them respect. That's exactly who Aragorn is. So it didn't surprise me, just like Sam Gamgee was always loyal to Frodo. It just was who he was. So that didn't surprise me, but I think the lighting of the beacons, which of course leads back to the Charge of the Rohirrim. You can't have one without the other.
All right. I'm going to go, I think Bow to No One's going to win in that division, based on the fact that it just beat out Boromir's death. I mean, I'm sorry, still blown away by that.
Honestly, it was a very close race there, Chris. The way that Second Breakfast was, it doesn't mean that it's gonna blow out Lighting the Beacons.
Oh, but it's gonna blow out Lighting the Beacons solely because there's obviously some kind of momentum going for that sequence, and the voters are obviously voting for it. I think it's in higher proportion than they'll vote for Lighting Beacons. I think it'll be close. I'm sorry, I just shouldn't say it's blowout. It's gonna be like 52-48, and it's gonna be Bow to No One. I'm voting for Lighting the Beacons, and then the other matchup. I'm sorry.
If you find you a box, Chris, it's over. Our relationship is over.
But it's just started. Oh man. I'm gonna vote for Charge of the Rohirrim.
There we go. Yeah.
But I'm telling you again, it's one of these things, the underdog story.
You said this about Gandalf coming out the whole way too. I don't know if
but it's not. This is an underdog now. We got two underdogs essentially that are fighting it here, and I think we're going to find that the audience is going to disappoint us all. But in find you a box versus Bow to No One. I hope it's not that, because mine are the opposite. Jim, what do you got?
So, here we're heading into the final four, which means we're no longer putting scenes that are of the same type against one another. So now it's going to get weird because, are you a tearjerker type person? Are you a scenic person, or whatever that is? And it's like, close your eyes and envision how you both experience. Say you were going to have, a first watch with your crush.
Hey, leave me alone.
And so
which scenes
would you go to if you could say, just watch this scene? I assure you,
Oh,
you're going to love this scene. So watch it with me.
Right.
And so for me, that's why I share the offense that Chris has expressed for the loss of Boromir. I share the offense that Chelsea's expressed for how Second Breakfast didn't come out. So I'm going to vote with a restoration of my faith in Lord of the Rings fans and say it's got to be Beacons against Rohirrim. And then that's going to be tough.
Yes.
That is going to be tough.
Yes.
All right, Justin, you got I think everyone else talked already. So yeah, you're the final word on this.
I'm just reading the chat room, and I gotta say, I'm surprised how many people agree with you, Jim, that they did not have emotional response to You Bow to No One. So I'm learning. It's great to see. But other comments in the chat room. Jenny says, it's way deeper than just showing the hobbits respect. There are layers to that moment of you bow to no one.
CG green screen layers.
Let me also just say that Bow to No One, if it wins, gives us a final scene with Pippin in it. So
Looking for the silver lining.
And then Jake in the chat room says, the whole series, and arguably Tolkien's whole goal message for the book was, the whole series was the hobbits, but what can we do? We're just hobbits. And the message was that they were so important. And that scene, You Bow to No One, is the payoff, is the, in the end, they were so important.
Yeah, even the smallest person could make a difference.
So, you know, if we look at this Final Four, what I'm surprised from a technical perspective is that you've got a number 1, number 2 seed versus a bottom seed, 16 and 14. I mean, it's not even close.
Weird. It's so weird.
That have just completely come out of nowhere with a bottom seed, and they, you know, it's someone in the chat room a couple episodes ago on our round 2 results show said voting is a strategy. It's not just voting which one. Like, there were people coming into this competition voting with a strategy to make sure that a certain seed had the strength to go on to the Final Four. And here we are with a 16th seed versus a first seed. And, you know, gosh, you know, Pippin is in 3 of the 4 of these scenes. And, you know, if we're going to do Bow to No One and Lighting the Beacons.
Pippin's in the charge? I thought it was Mary.
Mary's in the charge.
Mary's in the charge, sorry.
Pippin's in Lighting the Beacon Fires and Bow to No One.
Pippin's going and singing with them.
So Pippin's definitely making it into the final 2.
Yeah, because he's in those 2.
You're just rubbing it in for Chris on Faramir's charge with Pippin singing.
That's just don't even bring that up again.
I'm going with the 16th seed, You Bow to No One versus the Charge of the Rohirrim. And I think I know who's going to win that, but I'll save it for next episode.
All right. So I want to throw a wrench in here.
Okay.
Just to actually, let's first talk about something exciting coming up. As part of this final voting for the Final Four and the finale, we are giving away this Balrog deluxe figure vinyl collectible with a little Gandalf, and actually Josh has it, and anyone who's voting and leaves their email address will be entered, and we're going to choose randomly the winner after the finale, right? So it's a pretty cool piece, but it comes with a little Gandalf. Josh, can you show that Gandalf?
I don't know if you can see him. He kind of wants to
Oh,
blend
there he is.
in the background a little bit.
Cool.
God, it's so adorable.
And then it also comes with this little base that you can set the Balrog on. And then it's a pretty neat little setup.
And then you put Gandalf in the mouth. No.
That's pretty cool. That's cool. I'm finally, because I can't see what you guys see
or on top of his head.
Yeah.
That's cool. So that's going to be our giveaway, and voting is live now.
In front of your face.
Yeah, there you go.
Voting is live now, and oh wait, wait, that bit lie's not going to work. I'll get it to work after the show, I promise. I didn't set it up.
So there'll be a link for people to enter.
Yeah, it's part of the voting. So you vote for your 2 options, and then afterwards we'll you just leave your email address. So that's how you enter. But let's go back. I want to go back to the final full. Wait. Oh, sorry. No. We don't want to do this again. Oh man.
Oh.
Oh.
Ouch.
Oh.
This is horrible. I don't want to relive this.
I hope you're not on a low sodium diet, Chris, because that's salt in the wound, buddy.
Oh my god.
Yeah, there you go.
Like header and everything.
Action and drama. Yeah, you need to change. That needs to be a tearjerker, not. There we go. January,
right.
February, March.
Here's what I wanted to come to.
April.
Here's what I wanted to throw out to the panel here. And, bear with me trying to explain what I'd love to hear. Ultimately, put up the right graphic, dude. I think I've followed your Facebook or the feed, and they're showing alerts again.
No, we see your middle alerts.
Okay, all right.
So I wanted to ask you, the people, as we go into the Final Four, who in the chat room has a winning card? Like,
oh yeah, if anyone had they're all gonna lie. What are you talking about? Come on, it's humanity. Yeah, I did.
Who's winning in their March Madness pool?
Anyway, my question to the panel is, now knowing that we've come out of these divisions with very specific topics: tearjerkers, laughter, scenic, drama, and action. What would have been your preferred ignoring all voting, like your preferred final four to
Oh.
go up against each other.
Out of all these?
Out of all these, like now, like I'm saying, like just forget the divisions had specific topics. We're just looking at your 4 scenes
Your
from
four
the Lord of the
moments
Rings
from the movies.
from the movies.
Okay.
What would those 4 moments be?
Try to annotate.
How long do you want
underline-
this segment to be? Because it may take a while to study.
Now, give me a moment because I
Well,
I
we can-
actually
you know
wrote
what we-
down my final 4. I wrote that down in an early thread.
You know
So
what we
just
could
give me a
do?
moment to find it.
Well, actually, no. You know what? It's a little bit of cliffhanger. Let's bring that for our next show because
Okay.
we'll be able to
Ooh.
talk about that at the beginning.
I need to be able to look at all of these and really kind of ponder my
Yeah, ignoring seeds, like the like just say, for example, you know, Second Breakfast was your favorite scene in all of the films. Okay, so that made it as one for sure.
Yeah, I mean, in some ways, Chris, you're doing what I was trying to think about in terms of if we closed our eyes and thought about what are the 4 most iconic scenes.
Yeah.
going
Right.
through this.
That's
Right.
what I was saying. Yeah, like in Justin, he wasn't saying from these categories, literally anything from the movies, even if it wasn't
Yes.
on the here.
Can we include things that weren't on the in the
Yes.
competition?
Yes.
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, because there were a couple scenes that were in our voting that didn't make it.
Like
So that's your
like
homework
the
assignment.
Pippin scene.
And here's the other part of that homework assignment for my sanity. You have to email them to me
Okay. Okay.
so that I can
Sorry.
put them in the presentation.
All right.
Every scene from Bob.
Okay,
I
all
want
right, we know
4
it. We know it.
scenes. I want 4 scenes from
And
each of
they
you.
don't have to be from each of the categories. Like you can
No.
have 4 laughter scenes if you guys want. Like it's
Exactly.
4 scenes.
Yep.
Okay.
4 scenes.
And we can use The Hobbit, apparently.
You can use the Hobbit. Yep.
But would
Man.
we?
This is like picking your favorite.
Thorin's death.
Yes. Wait.
I need Merry and Pippin singing their little pub song.
The drinking song? Yeah,
Yep.
that's a good
All right, I'm
one.
going to end the presentation and pull up the bracket just as an image,
It comes in
Justin.
pints?
But yeah, it comes in pints. How is that not in the laughter category initially?
Right? Exactly.
Yes,
That's
there
what I'm
was
saying.
there was things we missed. Yes, there was.
Even the Wondering staff can make mistakes.
But like I said last time, I think in some ways that goes to show you the strength of, you know, the Lord of the Rings trilogy, in that there's so many great moments that you can step back and look and go, "Ah, crap, I forgot that one," because you had all these other great moments you were thinking about and you know, putting into the brackets to vote and stuff. So I think that
So-
shows strength.
April 13th, so Monday, that's our results show.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's our next. The
So we have
voting gets
like Monday,
condensed.
like noon to get you our 4 scenes. Oh, great.
So we got a comment from Chelsea Hortis,
I was like,
saying
not
that wrong in the chat room, saying she's never cried during Boromir's death scene. Am I broken? I think I'm broken.
Maybe that might be a
Actually, I can
possibility.
answer that question very clearly. Go to the doctor. You need some therapy.
But she also wrote that she says,
right at Boromir's death
uh,
scene either. It might be-
"Don't diss my love of the bow to no one scene." So it's the same person, I think, said that about something about, you know, she has every right to cry over the bow to no
Well,
one.
actually, the question for her though is, did she read the books before the film? That's, I think, the question for her.
Great mistake in the chat room says they're 16-2.
Wow. So they.
That's the seed that he thinks is going to go to the
Bow to
finals.
no
Bow
one.
to no one versus
Oh,
Charge of the Rohirrim.
All right.
Ah,
All right, so we have our homework. Please do give, you can get it, I know Monday's a work day and we all work virtually, but yeah, let's see if you guys could give me your final 4 scenes, ignoring the complete tournament. What are your final 4? And we'll discuss those leading into our reveal of our championship matchup. And we'll go from there. And that was the perfect way to end the show.
It was the perfect
The
way,
garage
and you will hear more of that on Monday.
Is it
Yeah,
Monday
look
or
at the garage
Tuesday?
door scene.
You guys said Monday, no?
Yeah,
yes,
Monday night.
is- Yeah,
Okay.
13th, yeah, Monday night.
Okay, cool.
It is a
Can we
Monday
stick
night deal.
around for a moment after we turn off the live stream?
Absolutely. So everybody, thank you for tuning in for the live results show for Middle-earth March Madness Round 4, the Elite 8. We've just seen our Final 4. It's a crazy matchup. I can't believe the votes that have happened on some of these. I can't believe how close some of the votes have been. So we will have a link up on the onering.net tomorrow morning, and we'll post it on all of our socials. So make sure to get your vote in and share and retweet, because this Final 4, it's tough. And I think it's possible we might get a big upset, but we'll see. So thank you for tuning in to this.
Bigger than my upset today? I don't know.
All right.
Thanks, everybody.
We'll see you around.
See you
Take
Monday.
care of yourselves.
Happy holiday.
Wash your hands.
Happy holidays.